Hey, what's going on, y'all? So I wanted to do a different style video today, more raw, uncut, unedited, just sharing simple truths with you on how to stay consistent with exercise, how to work out consistently, not fall off, despite a busy schedule, despite a hectic schedule. Now, I've been a coach for nearly a decade. I've worked with over 500 people at this point, everyone from C-suite executives to consultants, and lawyers, and teachers, and nurses, stay-at-home moms, weekend warriors, right? Everyone in between. And so I just got my notes here. I got 4 points to share with you on how to stay consistent in these difficult, stressful times. So let's jump right in with point number one. Point number one is the accordion analogy. So this is something I often think about, and it's a skill that must be practiced on how to effectively stay consistent. So when you think about someone playing an accordion, you've probably seen it somewhere, maybe in person or on TV at least, but someone's playing an accordion, they're expanding it and they're contracting it. Expand and compress, expand and compress. And that's the skill set that you want to develop in terms of your exercise routine. It's a mistake, I find, to try and keep the exact same exercise routine 365, even as your schedule ebbs and flows. It gets busier, it gets less busy, but you're trying to keep the same plan. Rarely have I found that to be effective. And so what you want to practice the skill of is identifying when things get busy. Okay, I need to compress down my routine. Still stay consistent, still doing something. That's always our mindset, is always doing something versus all or nothing. But the ability to compress it and then expand it once things get less hectic. Okay, so what I have here in my notes, and this is a practical piece that you can do as a takeaway from this video, is come up with a bare minimum routine, something that only takes 5 minutes, or it could even be 2 minutes. So for example, you could set a timer for 5 minutes and you're going to do 10 push-ups followed by 10 squats with no rest, back to back to back, for 5 minutes. Now, if you think that isn't a good workout, you're sadly mistaken, right? It might be easy for some, depending on who you are, but that's good work. You're putting in some good work. And so that's the first point that I want to relay to you, is that we want to take our ego out of the equation and our desire to optimize everything, right? We want to focus less on, as I often say, the intensity, and focus more on the consistency. And so until you're consistent, until you're able to exercise consistently for months on end, years on end, despite of what you have on your plate, then you want to focus on not what's most effective, but what you can get done. Done is what's most effective. Done is better than perfectly incomplete. Okay, so that is the first point that I wanted to mention. Point number two is never deprioritize your health. Rarely are the things that we're working on when it comes to our work, our job, or our business, or our career, rarely are those things actually more important than our health, because our health, I would argue, is actually the most important thing in our lives in terms of the assets we have. We might have a lot of money, we might even have a lot of time, or X, Y, and Z, great relationships, but we don't have our health, and as much as we can control it, it means very little. And so that's the first thing, is that never put your health on the back burner. Never say, oh, well, I'm just gonna hold off on that until things settle down. No, always keep it a priority. And so the way I think about this is we never want to take a day off from being who we are. Now, we're not saying that exercise is our identity, that's all we're about, right? Like is characteristic of when we think about people from New York and vegans. Those are the two groups that come to mind, where like you can't meet someone from New York without them telling you they're from New York. I'm from the Bronx. Or a vegan, hey, my name's Jeff, did you know I'm a vegan? But anyways, so exercise is not necessarily our identity. However, our character and really who we are is the amalgamation of our deeds, what we choose to do or not do every single day. And so if we're really committed to making this a lifestyle, then hey, it has to be a priority every single day. We can't let it fall to the wayside and just say like, oh, I'm just going to put this on the back burner. No, it should always be a priority. And I'll get to that point later on how do you navigate organizing your priorities so that it stays as a prominent fixture in your day and your week. But nonetheless, the point being, never put your health on the back burner. Never deprioritize your health, your exercise, and your wellness. All right. Next point. along with this is, along the point of never deprioritizing your health, is that I understand, again, we get busy. In steps in effective multitasking. Now, multitasking, in as much as doing two active things at once, doesn't really exist. Meaning, my mind is occupied with this one thing and then another thing. You can't do both at once. You might be switching back and forth quickly, but there's no such thing as multitasking in that case. What you can multitask on is with something active and something passive, like going for a walk and talking on the phone. Hopefully you could do those two together. You're not like right foot, left foot, right? Hey, hold on, 1 second. Right foot, left foot, you're not like that. And so wherever possible, get creative. See where you can effectively multitask. Can you take a walking meeting, right? How can you mix something that you have to get done? Maybe you're listening to a lecture or something like that, and you can get some exercise in while you're doing that versus trying to separate the two, and now, it's adding time, taking time away from your schedule, right? And so I would be thinking about that. How can you get creative? Can you get a desk treadmill, right? What are those things that you can put into play to save you time, still get your exercise in? All right. Moving on to the third point, 3 of 4, is we got to change our perspective on time. So I like the point that the real estate mogul Ryan Serhant made about the point of we basically have 1,000 minutes every single day at our disposal. If we're assuming we're sleeping 8 hours a day, that's about 960 minutes. And so we have 1,000 minutes, generally speaking, and we want to be mindful of our language. We want to think about what is time actually? Time is life, and we don't find time. Like I'm searching in my pockets. Don't have any time. That's not what we're thinking. We don't find time. We don't have time. We invest time. So you have your 1,000 minutes at your disposal every single day. How are you investing those 1,000 minutes? What are you investing your 1,000 minutes into? And so back to the point of having your bare minimum routine, simply put, if you can't invest 5 minutes into your health, which 5 out of 1,000 is 0.5%, it's not even 1% of your day. If you can't do that, then it might be a cold hard truth. You might not like to hear it, but really your health is not that important to you. And it's just that simple. It's really not that important to you. That must be the case. Your actions are proving that to be the case. And so, again, if you can't invest 5 minutes into your health, into exercise, into a good habit that contributes to your health, it's not important to you. It's really that simple. So change your perspective on time and think, what are my top priorities, and am I investing each day in said priorities? And that is the simple piece. It's changing our perspective. We don't find time, we invest time. So the next and final point number 4, is evaluate how busy you really are. When things get busy for me, I think less about working more hours. If push comes to shove, I'll do that. But I'm thinking less about working more hours initially, and more so how can I decrease my distractions so the hours that I'm putting in are more effective. I'm getting more done. I'm more productive in that time that I'm investing. But when I say evaluate how busy you really are, if you're really that busy or you think you can't exercise, well, there should be no room for non-essentials. There should be no room for TV or social media or kicking it with friends. Like, you should be basically at your wit's end. If you're at that point, okay, understand. Again, all the points I just mentioned should still come into effect. So you shouldn't, still not an excuse to deprioritize your health and your exercise. But again, be honest with yourself. Like, am I saying I'm working 12 hours a day, but then I'm spending 3 hours of the 12 on Instagram or TikTok? Okay, well then I'm kidding myself. I'm not actually that busy. And so evaluate those things. Look at your screen time. Are you watching TV? What are those non-essentials that you, in the short term, can cut so that you can invest more time into your health? And so we got our essentials, things we have to get done, our responsibilities, things on our plate that we can't avoid, and then we have non-essentials. So in those hectic times, outline the non-essentials, divest from those, and invest that time that you would spend in the non-essentials into your health and the top priorities. So we always have time because we dictate how we choose to spend our time. We invest it we don't find it, we don't have it. And so, again, back to the point of compressing and expanding our schedule. We want to make sure that we practice that skill, we hone it, get rid of those non-essentials, and then when things start to get more laxed, then reintroduce them, right? Bring those things back in. But again, never deprioritize your health. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, if you feel now more confident in navigating those hectic times, please hit the like button so we can get this video out there to more people. And I will catch you in the next video. All right, take care.